For armed men in dark leather jackets stormed down my driveway at dawn, crowbars in hand, their eyes burning with malice. I stood on my family's land, shotgun raised, defending 3 generations of blood and sweat against thugs sent by corrupt men who'd never dirted their hands. But what these HOA crooks didn't know was that this former Marine had already prepared a different kind of weapon, a single letter that would dismantle their entire criminal empire without a single shot fired. My name's Daniel Carter, 43 years old, former Marine Special Forces, and this ranch you see around me is the only home I've ever truly called mine. 3 generations of Carters have toiled on this land, starting with my grandfather, who built it from nothing after returning from World War II. He used to say, "A man who owns his land owns his soul." I never fully grasped that until recently. I inherited these 15 acres when my father passed 2 years ago. It's not the biggest spread in Nevada, but it's paid for with hard work and memories. Raising Appaloosa horses became my solace after 3 combat tours, something pure after witnessing humanity's darkest corners. The land just outside Silver Creek was wide open country when I was a kid, but the city's been creeping closer every year. Trouble started when neighbors began selling out. The Harrisons here for 25 years, then old Mrs. Delaney. New subdivisions popped up with names like Canyon View Estates. I ignored it until a certified letter arrived, claiming my property had been annexed into their homeowners association. I nearly laughed reading how my barn was an unauthorized structure and my fence violated community standards. They demanded I attend their meeting and included a bill for $1,200 in past due fees. I did what any sensible man would do, wrote no legal authority on it, and sent it back, thinking that was the end. A week later, a process server showed up with another notice. I refused it, watching him slink back to his car. That small win felt good, but I didn't realize it was the opening move in a war. Looking back, I should have seen the strategy. This wasn't about aesthetics. It was a calculated operation that had devoured properties across 3 counties. But I was about to learn what happens when corrupt men underestimate a man with nothing to lose but his family's legacy. 3 days after I rejected their papers, a sleek Lexus rolled up my dirt driveway, looking as out of place as a yacht in a desert. The man who stepped out wore a tailored suit worth more than my monthly income, his polished shoes gleaming. "Mr. Carter," he said, extending a hand with practiced charm. "Edward Langley, president of the Canyon View Estates HOA. I thought we might discuss your situation." I didn't shake his hand. "Nothing to discuss. My land isn't part of your association." He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "May I?" He gestured toward the property and started walking without my permission, like he was appraising a new purchase. "Remarkable water rights here," he said, pausing by my well. "Underground spring access is rare around Silver Creek." My instincts flared. Most HOA types obsess over paint colors, not water rights. 3 generations, I said. "My grandfather dug that well himself." "Impressive," Langley nodded, his tone dismissive. "But surely you see this property doesn't fit the community's new vision. These structures," he waved at my barn, "lower neighboring property values." "There are no neighbors," I pointed out. "Nearest house is half a mile away." "For now," he said, that fake smile returning. "Development plans are approved. This area's changing, Mr. Carter. Change can work for you, or against you." When my old dog Scout trotted up, Langley stepped back, clearly annoyed. Scout, sensing the tension, shook himself, splattering mud on those pristine shoes. I didn't hide my grin. Langley's mask slipped for a moment. "I'd reconsider your position. The county has updated records to reflect your annexation." "That's not legal without my consent," I said. He shrugged. "Mistakes happen. Fighting it takes lawyers. And accidents happen to properties in dispute." I stepped closer, seeing a flicker of unease in his eyes. "This land stays in my family. Your papers mean nothing here." Langley straightened, his muddy shoes betraying his composure. "Patriots like you think it's about principle," he said, walking to his car. "It's always about money, Mr. Carter. You don't know who you're dealing with." As his Lexus vanished, I realized two things. Langley wasn't a petty bureaucrat. He was a man used to getting his way, by any means. And his interest in my water rights hinted at something bigger than HOA fees. What I didn't know was that I'd just met the frontman for a massive money laundering scheme in the Southwest, a man who'd ruined countless families and now had me in his sights. The harassment began the next week. Every morning brought new violation notices: $500 for fence height, $750 for unauthorized livestock, $1,000 for non-compliant structures. By Friday, they claimed I owed $5,000. I drove to the county records office to check Langley's claim. The clerk, Ellen, frowned at my file. "This is odd. There's a boundary change form here, but the signature..." She looked up. "Did you authorize this?" The paper showed a forged signature reclassifying my land into Canyon View Estates. "That's fake," I said. Ellen whispered, "You're not the first. Several records in this area have been altered this year." As I left, Ellen called out, "Mr. Carter, be careful. The last person who fought this lost their home to a gas leak fire." That evening at Thompson's feed store, I ran into Clara, a church friend who worked for Langley's property management company. "Daniel," she whispered, glancing around, "watch out for Langley. The banking activity I see, millions moving through accounts that should handle thousands. It's not right." That night, I dusted off my old marine gear and set up trail cameras around my property. By morning, the footage showed two men in dark clothes probing my fence at 2 a.m. They fled when Scout barked, but their presence confirmed this wasn't about rules. Over the next week, black SUVs cruised by my ranch. Twice, men with cameras photographed my buildings, claiming to be county assessors, but speeding off when I approached. At Thompson's again, Langley appeared, standing too close as I loaded feed. "Heard you've been asking questions at the county," he said. "That's not wise, Daniel. Be reasonable while you can." He walked away without waiting for a reply. That night, my cameras caught 4 men in suits inspecting my well. I emailed Langley's business address anonymously with their faces and license plates. "Trespassing is illegal in Nevada." No reply came, but the next day, my barn lock was broken, equipment shifted, nothing stolen. Just a message they could get to me. They were testing me, looking for my breaking point. They didn't know they were dealing with someone who'd faced worse than bureaucratic intimidation. Then the attacks escalated. I woke to find 2 fence sections cut, too clean for animals. My 2 best Appaloosas escaped. One nearly hit on the highway before I retrieved them. 3 days later, my water trough was tainted with an oily substance. My vet confirmed it was antifreeze, deadly to horses. My marine medic training helped me save my mare Luna with charcoal and round-the-clock care. Those 3 sleepless nights were worth it to deny them that win. Then came late-night calls from blocked numbers. "Fire marshal found issues with barns like yours. Shame if it burned. Coyotes are bad this year. Horses don't fare well injured." I reported everything to the Silver Creek police. Chief Hammond dismissed me. "Sounds like a civil matter with the HOA. Breaking and entering, attempted poisoning, and threats are crimes," I countered. "No evidence links anyone specific," he said, eyes on his desk. Leaving, I noticed his new Chevy Silverado, a $70,000 truck, on a $60,000 salary. Public records later showed Hammond had bought a lake cabin through a shell company tied to Langley's partner. The pattern emerged when I contacted others who'd resisted the HOA. Each faced harassment, vandalism labeled, accidents, and eventually gave in. My neighbor Frank Larson, a Gulf War vet, sold to Langley's company after his daughter's car was vandalized twice. "Take the money, Daniel," he said, defeated. "Some fights you can't win." The local paper's editor seemed interested, but backed out after Langley's firm signed an ad contract. Every lead hit a wall: corrupt officials, silenced victims, a network of fear. By week 3, I'd added cameras, reinforced fences, and slept in shifts. What Langley didn't know was that my special forces training taught me to turn an enemy's moves into intel. I documented everything, building a file on their operation while seeming to just defend my land. They thought they were breaking me. They were teaching me how to destroy them. The showdown came at dawn on a Tuesday. Four men in leather jackets with Night Vipers MC patches rode up my driveway on motorcycles. One had chains, two carried crowbars, and the fourth held a gas can. I recognized hired muscle, not real bikers. Their patches were off, the stitching too clean. I blocked their exit with my truck and stood by the barn, shotgun ready. They didn't see me, focused on the property. "Start with the barn," the leader said. "Langley wants this place unlivable by tonight. He's paying $5,000. "Stop right there," I called, chambering around. They turned, the leader reaching for his waistband until he saw my shotgun. "This is private property. You're trespassing." "Just delivering a message," the leader said, smirking. "Put the gun down, old man." "Your patches say Night Vipers, founded 1975, I said. "But the real Vipers started in 1980. I served with their founder, Tom Reynolds, in Iraq." Doubt crossed their faces. I showed my unit tattoo, shared with Tom. "You're wearing fake colors. Real Vipers would skin those patches off you. So, here's the deal. Leave your phones, the gas can, and any evidence of who hired you, and I won't call Tom. He's 30 minutes away." Within minutes, they complied. Their phones held texts from Langley's associate with maps targeting my barn and payment confirmation. One had a voicemail from Langley: "Make sure nothing's left standing. I want that land cleared." As they rode off, I smiled grimly. Langley had slipped, leaving hard evidence of criminal intent no connections could bury. But I didn't rush to the corrupt local cops. This was leverage for a bigger plan. Langley's desperation revealed his motive. I called Mike Donovan, a special forces buddy now with the Treasury Department's Financial Crimes Unit. "Daniel Carter," he answered warmly. "Still causing trouble?" "Need a favor, Mike. A guy named Edward Langley runs Canyon View Estates. Something's off." 2 days later, Mike emailed, "Langley's on our radar. His HOAs collect $8 million in fees yearly but process $120 million. Suspected money laundering, but he's slippery. Send me what you've got." I shared the evidence. Mike explained Langley's scheme. His HOAs targeted valuable properties, forced owners out with harassment or fake annexations, then bought the land through shell companies. The developments laundered millions in cartel cash and embezzled funds. My ranch's spring water made it a prime target, water's gold in Nevada. Langley was also running for mayor, eyeing federal grants to scale his operation while gaining political cover. Over 2 weeks, I built a fuller picture. Langley controlled local officials through blackmail. The judge signing HOA foreclosures had debts paid by Langley's allies. The county assessor got consulting fees. The planning commissioner had suspicious deposits. 6 other victims confirmed the pattern: harassment, vandalism, surrender. A former city councilor, Laura Bennett, told me police found drugs in her daughter's car after she challenged Langley. The case vanished when she backed off. My FBI contact, Chris Vargas, added the final piece. Langley informed on his cartel partners to stay untouchable, maintaining a clean public image. His weakness was that image, lose it, and his allies and partners would turn. I crafted a plan inspired by my father's military journals. In asymmetric warfare, don't hit their strength. Create failures that make them destroy themselves. With Mike, I built an evidence package: $20 million in suspicious HOA transactions, Langley's voicemail, forged records, victim testimonies, his informant status, payments to officials, and photos of Langley with cartel figures. My letter, written over 3 days, was clinical, packed with proof to trigger mandatory investigations. It exploited Langley's use of attorney-client privilege to hide crimes, ensuring those protections would collapse. I sent 7 packages to 7 targets: State Attorney General, FBI, Treasury, cartel partners, a local TV reporter, HOA board members, and the IRS. To test Langley, I left a decoy package. His security grabbed it, and my cameras caught his panicked calls. They can't tie us to Carter's place. His fear of exposure confirmed my plan. On a Sunday, I finalized everything. Monday morning, I sent the packages, timed to hit within 2 hours. By noon, Langley called, desperate. "Daniel, there's a misunderstanding. I can offer compensation. After today, others will act." At 2 p.m., he arrived in a Cadillac, disheveled, with a briefcase of $2 million. "Sign this and disappear," he said. I let the silence linger. "Why my ranch, Langley?" Then I found the surveys. The spring under my land is the biggest untapped water source in Lincoln County. His face betrayed him. "You're making a mistake," he growled. "You don't know the forces you're crossing." "I do," I said. "Your cartel partners know you're an informant. Your donors see the laundering. The HOA board faces liability. And the IRS wants your offshore accounts." His phone buzzed with news alerts. My footage of his thugs aired during his fundraiser. Sirens approached. As agents cuffed him, his wife's call echoed. "They say you're laundering for cartels, Edward. Is it true?" His denials faded as he was led away. Within 48 hours, Langley's empire collapsed. Federal raids hit his 12 HOA offices, seizing records showing $600 million laundered over a decade. His political campaign imploded, donors fled, and his jet was stopped with $4.3 million in cash. The judge turned state's evidence, exposing corruption tying 3 state senators, the assessor, and Chief Hammond. My land's records were restored, and the county apologized publicly. 6 months later, life settled. My testimony helped indict Langley on 142 counts, facing 1,740 years. His HOAs funded a criminal machine, but his own security cameras recorded his crimes, sealing his fate. The Night Vipers MC held a benefit ride, raising $50,000 for HOA victims. I used settlement funds to start a foundation defending property owners, winning its first case for a Nevada couple. Standing on my ranch, watching my Appaloosas run, I reflect on my father's words. The worst threats to freedom come with paperwork, not guns. The framed letter that toppled Langley hangs beside his Marine photo, a reminder that courage and truth can outmatch any tyrant. Langley relied on fear. I chose to fight. And fear is a choice.